Welcome back to the Local Chingu Podcast, episode 2.
Woo!
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
I'm Evan.
And I'm Yeji.
Okay. So, what are we going to talk about today?
Today, we're going to talk about how to get a job as a teacher in Korea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who want to come to Korea and live longer than 3 months.
True, yes.
Because 3 months is, the tourist visa, the
Right.
normal visa. So you can stay up to 90 days without any, how can I say?
You don't have to apply for a visa, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a visa to stay for 3 months.
Yes. So I think one of the easiest way to live longer than 90 days here in Korea maybe is getting a job, right?
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
for the, if you are from English speaking country, then maybe the easiest way is to find the job as an English teacher.
Yeah,
And that's your job too, right?
it is my job, yeah.
So I thought we can just share some tips
yeah.
or your experience as a, being an English teacher here in Korea, right? And also I've met so many people who's teaching English here because I would say like 50% of our local Chingu guests, they're 영어 선생님,
You're
English
right.
teacher.
They're English teachers,
So,
that's very true.
I'm not an English teacher here, like the 원어민 선생님,
Right.
but I've told a lot of interesting story about how is it like living as an English teacher here in Korea. So I think we can talk about it
Yeah, definitely.
today. So I think today I'm gonna just ask a question and then you answer, okay? Because
that
you're the
works.
one who have the experience.
Okay,
So, Evan,
yeah.
how long have you been teaching English here in Korea?
So, today is October 1st. So, in about 2 weeks, I will have been here for 1 whole year.
One whole year.
So it's almost my 1 year anniversary of coming to Korea.
When was it?
October. So my plane got here. My flight got here October 13th, and I started teaching October 17th.
Oh, okay, October 13th. And today is October 1st.
October 1st. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm almost at my 1 year Korea anniversary. So yeah. So I've been here for 1 year.
1 year.
Almost.
How has been?
It's been good.
It's been good?
It's been great. It's been good enough. I renewed my contract with my job, so I'm gonna be at the same company for at least another year.
Okay.
Teaching English with the same company, same place, same apartment, all of that.
Okay. So actually, most of English teacher that I met, they don't really like their 학원.
Yeah.
What is 학원?
A hagwon is like an after-school academy, right? It's an after-school academy. So kids, they go to elementary school or middle school, and then once they finish school at 1, 2, 3 o'clock, they go to academies for whether it's for English or math or anything where they go
taekwondo,
piano, violin, jump rope, history, Korean. There's Korean grammar, academies. Kids, they'll study the Korean writing and grammar and stuff.
논술?
I think so.
Yeah, 논술.
I have a lot of my students that they come to my academy, but they have 3, 4, 5 other academies. I've had one kid tell me she had 9 academies. Korean kids are busy. Korean kids are very busy.
It's also because you are working in a very special 학원, I would say.
Yeah.
The area that you are your 학원 is.
Yeah. So I teach in Gangnam. Specifically, I teach in Daechi-dong.
Daechi-dong.
And Daechi-dong is infamous for English academies. I think Daechi-dong is the number 1 spot to send your kids to an English academy. That's the number 1 spot. Definitely in Seoul. I don't know about Korea because I don't know, but I imagine it would be number 1 because I was on my way to work one day 5 or 6 months ago, and I was sitting at the bus stop, and this random 할아버지, this random grandpa, he just starts talking to me. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he's talking to me in Korean, of course. And he's like, "Oh, you teach English in Daechi-dong?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, until like 1992, there was like, or like in the early 90s, there was nothing in Daechi-dong. Like,
okay.
so he was like, until like the 90s, like the early 90s, there wasn't really anything in Daechi-dong. But then in the 90s, like they started to put like academies there, and then over the last like 25, 30 years, like Daechi-dong has become infamous for like English academies. Like he was telling me it's a very like recent thing that happened. Like it wasn't always famous for English, but over the last 25 years, it's become famous for English academies.
You know, it's not just famous for English academy.
Oh yeah?
It's famous for every single academy. Like
really?
It's just famous for 학원.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
So like where I work, it's like when I see academies, like I like there's like my academy and like 2 or 3 other academies like really close by.
So
and then I see like, and sometimes I'll see, like if I'm walking a different way, I've seen like some math academies and things like that. But you know, like when I think about it, it makes sense because like when I get off work, all the kids are leaving academies too. Like the bus stops are just full of students because everybody's leaving academies. So like it makes sense.
Okay. So when I first met you, when you said I am teaching English in Daechi-dong, I was like, that's not common because like most of English teacher that I met, they teach maybe like toddler.
Like toddlers.
Yeah,
and like
toddler가 유치원생 맞아요? toddler가 약간
toddlers
10살?
like toddlers are kids that are like 3, like 2 or 3 to like 5-ish.
Yeah. So some of my friends, they teach like 5 years old kids English. Right. And then maybe 5 to 10.
So kindergarten and like young elementary.
Yes. So they say they cannot tell if they are teaching English or babysitting. Yeah. So when you say like you are teaching English in Daechi-dong, I was like, oh, that's very 특이하다. Yeah.
Special, yeah.
Yeah, special. Because Daechi-dong is a place where, you know, here in Korea, like you say, the kids goes to different 학원, you know.
Yeah.
Even, and then, you know, the Gangnam area. So I think, you know, going to 학원 is not a kid can decide, you know. They can they cannot decide like, okay, I'm gonna go to 9 different 학원.
Right.
No.
That's like the parents' decision usually.
Yeah, that's the parents' decision. And then, you know, here in Korea, going to the good university is very important. It's getting less important, but still it's very important. Right. And then if you're living in a, like, I don't know, like rich area, like Gangnam, then you can afford more 학원 for your kid. Right. And then for the parents, one of their goal is like making their kid to go to good university. Right. Like Sky 대학교, you know, like those like
the Sky, which is like Seoul University, Korea University, and Yonsei University.
Yes. So they, you know, just going to the general high school, like, or public high school, just like normal, like the high school class is not enough
to get them to those universities.
Yeah. So they go to 학원 after school. So even me, I wasn't raised in that area, but my mom was thinking that like, you know, making my kid study a lot, it's very important. So she spent a lot of money on it. So I used to go to like different 학원 after 학교. And Daechi-dong is like the more like where all the popular or expensive teachers are there. So the fee is very high. So that's like the center of the Korean like crazy education. Yeah. So when you say like you're teaching English in Daechi-dong, I was like, wow. So like your experience would be very different.
I think so.
Yeah. So the first question that came to my mind was like, how did you find that job? Yeah. So how did you find that job?
So I was still in America last year. Usually like the advice that I was reading online about like how to find jobs in Korea, they say usually like anywhere between like 3 and 6 months before you're ready to like go, that's when you start searching for a job. Because like
Okay, you gotta plan.
you have to plan ahead because your visa itself can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks because you have to send all of your stuff to the embassy in Korea and then they send it back to you. If you don't have a passport, then it takes 8 to 11 weeks to get a passport in the US.
Yeah.
I don't know about other countries, but like you have to, if you don't already have a passport or things like that, you have to like plan for all of that, make sure you like have like the finances to spend the $200 to, you know, get your passport, or spend, you know, the however much money it costs to send your passport and your photos and your diploma and everything to the embassy so they can verify.
Oh yeah.
Like it takes a lot to send everything over, like, so you really do need all of that time.
You have to translate all the documents too, right? In Korean. No? You don't need to?
Your documents can either be in Korean or English. If it's any other language, you do have to get it translated into English or Korean.
That sounds easier.
Now, luckily, if you're trying to get like an E2 visa, which is like teaching English, you can only get it if you're from one of 7 countries, like where English is an official language.
America,
So America, Canada,
New Zealand.
New Zealand, Australia, Britain, South Africa, and Ireland. Those 7.
Only 7?
Only those 7
If you're
countries.
not from that
7
country,
countries,
then you're
you
not
don't
getting
qualify.
Okay.
Like you have to have a passport to show that you got your education in those countries. To even like that's like the requirement. So like if you're not from there, you can't even apply for like the E2 visa because.
Okay.
Right. So how did I get that job?
I mean, like,
Yeah.
so what if you're not from that country, but you did your bachelor in one of these countries, then you can still apply for it? No, you have to be, you have to have the passport from.
You have to be from that country, like you have to like.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it normal?
For E2, yes. No, like
I mean, like in general, in like globally, or like it's just Korea.
that I'm not sure about. But what I do know is like at one point I was considering graduate school. And like now the graduate school requirements are a little bit more relaxed. A lot of Korean universities have programs where they're taught in English. So like those programs, if you're not from one of those countries, if you can prove that you got a bachelor's like in an English speaking country, or like I think like maybe even like the TOEFL score.
Then you can get
then
it.
you can if you can prove you can speak English like to that level, you can still like get into the program.
Okay, I got it.
But
Okay.
like for the visa, they're like you have to be a native. English is your first language
Okay.
for that like visa type.
Okay. So at this point, like 50% of subscribers. Okay, I'm not gonna listen.
No, that's not to say you can't get a job doing other things. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna be like E2, like teaching at like an academy, like Hagwon Academy, or like public school or something, you have to be like English is your first language, like or like just from one of those 7 countries.
Okay, so how did you get the job? How did you find it?
So I was online just searching like different like forums and searching like just YouTube everywhere, and then I went on it was called like Dave's ESL Cafe, and it's this website that posts like job listings for English teachers in Korea, China, and I think maybe Japan too. And the website has been around for like years. Like if you go to the website looks like they created the website back in like 2006.
But still working.
But it looks the same unless they've updated it since I got here.
Okay.
But like the website is the same. People still use it to find jobs.
Yeah.
So I found a recruiter on the website. I contacted the recruiter, emailed them like my resume, and then they linked me up with this one woman. She was like my specific recruiter. I think I sent her like a scan of like my passport, like my page to show like I'm American, right?
Yes.
And then she took my resume and my passport picture and everything. I kind of had like a mini interview with her where she just kind of asked me what I was looking for, like what my qualifications were. She asked me like what age I wanted to teach, like did I want to teach like younger students or older students. I said I preferred to teach older kids because I was like I'm good with kids, but like I was like I didn't want to teach at like a kindergarten or like a daycare. Like I knew that's not what I wanted. So I was like, if you can find me like ideally like older kids, that would be better because that's like I'm better with that like age group.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her the age I wanted to teach. I told her I want to be in Seoul or like close to Seoul at least. And then she was like, this process is gonna go like once you start putting your resume out there, this process goes pretty quick. Like Korea is really fast paced. So like if I email you and say these people want to interview, they want to set that interview up within 24 hours. So she found me like 3 or 4 different like academies. It will be interviews like back to back to back. So I interviewed with like 3 or 4 academies over the course of like a week or so. And then after looking at all the like the offers that I got, I had to like go through and decide which one I wanted. And I finally settled on the academy I'm at now. And like the guy who interviewed me, he was like, we have more than one like location. He was like, we have the Daechi location and we have the one that's in I think like
Busan?
Socho or like Mapo or something.
Still a good location.
So he told me that in the first interview. And then he said, we'll contact you with an offer. So I went online and I looked up like Daechi and then I looked up like Socho or whatever the other one was. I looked them up and I was like, Daechi looks like it's in the middle of Seoul.
Yeah.
If he asked me which one I want, I'm going to say Daechi. And all my interviews were done over Skype because, you know, I was in America. So I Skyped with the guy again and then he's like, hey, you know, we talked about it. We really want you to come work for us. So we have 2 positions open. Would you prefer this one or Daechi? And I was like, I want to work at Daechi-dong. I want to work at the Daechi campus. And he was like, okay, I'll set it up. I think I had a really good recruiter. She was informative. Like they sent me pictures of my apartment. Like they were like, this is the apartment you'd be living in. They sent me the pictures. Like if I had questions, she would ask the interviewer for me. Like one school, like one of my interviews, I interviewed with like the director and I interviewed like with one of the teachers. So like I could talk to like the teachers and ask what like how their experience was at the school. So like that was good. So I settled on Daechi and then they sent me my contract. So I printed out the last page of the contract, signed it, scanned it, sent it to them. And then that's how we got the process started to like apply for my visa and get me to Korea.
So you found the recruiter in the
ESL Cafe, yeah.
ESL Cafe
website.
Oh, so it's like an agency?
Yeah, it was like a recruiting agency.
So do you pay for the service? Did you? You didn't pay anything?
I don't pay, but like most recruiters,
they get paid from the
academy. If they send somebody there and they get hired, then the academy pays the recruiter for finding them a person.
So nothing to lose. You just contact this recruiter.
Exactly. Now, what I will say is like there are recruiters out there who are like really like pushy because like their concern is getting paid, because if you get hired, if you sign that contract, they get paid. So like they're just trying to like find you any job sometimes. They're just like they're trying to find you any job and be like, you know, go here so I can hurry up and get paid and get my money from like you.
Yes. How can you believe in this person and send like all the information like passport and everything?
I was definitely a little bit nervous because I'm like, you know, this is a stranger. I'm sending my information. Yeah. Like I grew up luckily in the age of like the beginning of the internet. So like I know when something is like just not legit, you know?
Yeah. So she seems like,
she seemed like I could tell that she was like legit. Like one, like she set me up with like 3 interviews like so quickly, and like I could tell these were real schools, these were real teachers. Like they were like one of my interviews, they were in a classroom. Like I'm like, these are real schools. I'm like, if somebody was a scammer, like they wouldn't have 3 different classrooms just to try and make like $500 off of one person, you know what I mean? So like I could tell that it was like legitimate. And also like, you know, like I used to work in IT, so like I can look at like a website or like I can look at like a link or like a contract or something, and I can tell if it's like fake or like a scam or something. So like other people I'm not sure, but I know I have like the experience to look at something and tell if it's like if I should like leave it alone.
Okay. Then what do you need like to be able to teach English here in Korea? So you gotta be from those one of those 7 countries, and
then you need to have a bachelor's degree. Like your major doesn't matter, but you have to have a 4-year degree.
4-year degree.
Like a bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay.
So like a 4-year degree or like the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. Like I have a bachelor's degree, but like, you know, I did my bachelor's in 3 years because I graduated early.
Yeah.
But it's still a 4-year degree, right?
Okay.
So you need a bachelor's degree. You need like a background check to prove that you haven't committed any crimes or anything. So you need a federal background check. You need a bachelor's degree, be from one of the 7 countries. You need a passport. You need...
What about TESOL?
So that you don't have to have a TESOL, but it does help if you have it. If your major was not like education or teaching or like if you didn't major in like a language or teaching, like something where you know what it's like to learn a language, having a TESOL is very useful, or like having a TEFL, like the certificate, because it shows that like you actually care about like teaching, or you care about having the qualifications.
Yeah. So what is TESOL and TEFL?
TEFL. So TESOL, TESOL. There's a TESOL certificate and a TEFL certificate.
Okay.
TESOL is teaching English second as like teaching
as a second language.
As a second or other language. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but English
as a second. What is O?
Or other, maybe like other.
Other.
Second, other language, like second or like or other language, like
or other.
Because it could be like a third language or something for somebody. So like just a second or other language. That's my guess.
Okay. TESOL.
And then TEFL, TEFL, that's just teaching English as a foreign language.
Ah, okay. So let me check TESOL.
So yeah, so I'll keep talking while you do that.
Okay.
But so like the TESOL certificate, so some of them are online, and some of them require like in-person like practice or like in-person like experience.
Can I just? TESOL stands for Teaching English to Speaker of Other Languages.
Oh, okay.
Oh, speakers
of
other languages. Okay. And the TEFL is teaching English
as a foreign language.
What about the FEL?
TEFL.
TEFL as a foreign language.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
now I feel 시원해. So
it's like you're satisfied because you got the information.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can't focus on the next steps. Okay,
so yes, so my TEFL certificate, it was like 11 weeks, I think, or something like that. My program had a 20-hour practicum, which is where I had to have 20 hours of like in-person like observation or practice, like tutoring or teaching students English, to prove that I completed my program. To like I needed it to complete the program. So because like some programs don't have a practicum, or like it's just you just take the online classes and you're done.
Then you can get TEFL.
And you can get TEFL, but some programs do require the practicum where you have to spend 20 or more hours teaching English to students or observing English teachers, something like that. So like mine, it said they said you can have up to 14 hours of observation where you watch another teacher, but you need at least 6 hours where you are actually teaching or tutoring somebody in English. You know, luckily, like I'm still in contact with a lot of people from like college, and you know I was in like the Asian American Association. Anybody that watches this, shout out to AAA at the University of Memphis. I love y'all. Hello, AAA forever. Yes. So AAA is like the Asian American Association. So sometimes like the foreign like exchange students, they'll come because like they know that like other Asian students, even if they're Asian American, will like gather there to like find community. Yeah. So even the exchange students will come to events just to find like either other Asians or just people who may speak the same language they speak, just like from being in a new country. So I used a couple of my friends who were where English was their second language, and I would like tutor them in English or like help them with their essays and stuff, and that's how I got my like practicum. Like that's how I got my hours for my practicum. I just like helped them with their work and their English.
Yeah.
Now the reason that like I mentioned the practicum is because if your TEFL certificate, like your TEFL or TESOL program, doesn't require you to have those like in-person hours, sometimes like people won't really like they'll see it as like not like legitimate or like it's not worth it. But like that's not to say that people have the TEFL certificate with no practicum and they don't get jobs here. But if you have the practicum, it shows like a different level of like commitment to teaching English.
So it's not required,
right?
But it's good.
It looks good.
It looks
exactly.
Yes. Okay. So that's all you need to come to Korea to teach English. Right?
That maybe money to get started, of course. But just like if you come on an E2, usually they'll either provide an apartment for you, or they'll give you like an allowance where like they give you like a certain amount of money to like go towards paying for an apartment, like if you want to find it on your own.
So is that enough money like to live in Seoul? I feel like you get enough money to live here.
Considering that they pay for my apartment, absolutely. Because like if I was like if that was like my my salary as what it is, if I had to like pay for my own apartment too, it wouldn't be enough. But because they pay for my housing, I think it's definitely like sufficient. Like I just pay like my gas bill, like my water bill, right? Like I just pay for like the small stuff. But like my rent or like the key money, like my deposit, my company did all of that.
Yeah, finding a place to live is so hard for foreigners.
Yeah. And like on like Facebook and like other things, like if you like leave your academy or if you like need to move or find an apartment, everybody online says like if you don't speak Korean, or even if you do, bring a Korean person with you, because a lot of the like real estate agents who they won't work with foreigners because they just assume it's going to be difficult. They're like bring a Korean with you, because if not, nobody's going to want to help you.
Yes, even for me as a native Korean, I don't want to try to do that. It's like the deposit and like all the contract. It's so complicated. So sometimes my foreign friends ask me if I can company with them to see a place and then talk to the guy,
the agent. Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, I have no experience with it. I've never had like to find a place by myself.
Right.
So I don't think I can help you. Like, what if something go bad and then
it's I am you.
Yeah, it's on me. Like I was the one who could fix the problem. So I was like, maybe you should ask. I'm not the person who can help. Yeah, so I think even though there's a lot of how to say, if you look up like how is the life as an English teacher in Korea, there's a lot of bad experience out there.
Yes.
Like in the working environment is toxic, and then like they have like this problem, that problem, but still they give you the place to live, so you don't need to worry about to find a place. So you don't need to worry about the rent, and so I think that's why still people decide to come to Korea to teach English.
Yeah.
So
yes, like it's definitely good, but it's like you're hitting the lottery. It's like you're playing the lottery when you find a job in Korea.
Yes, and also I think the working hours is also not so good.
Yeah, if you teach like the little kids, you usually can work like 8 to 5, 9 to 6 or something.
Yes.
But like if you teach like me, like I teach older kids.
Then
like for me, the youngest kids I teach are like 8 years old. So like they come to me after school and I work like 1 to 9 Monday through Friday.
1 to 9. So every time I heard like how's your Hagwon life, it sounds way better than others. But at the same time, like, but still you have to work from 1 to 9. So I don't know. For me, it sounds like I'm not a morning person. So I know that I'm not going to do anything before I get to work. And then when you finish your work, it's already 10.
Yeah. But like what I like about it is like, cause like It's 1 to 9, but like my first class starts at 2:20, so I get to work by like 1:30, 1:40. So like I don't set alarms to wake up. I just wake up when I wake up.
So you're satisfied with your lifestyle right now.
Exactly. So like if I get into if I need to do something, I can set an alarm and choose to wake up early. If I need to go to the doctor, go to the bank or something before work, I can set an alarm and like make myself get up that one day. But 9 times out of 10, I just get up when I want and then go to work, and then I'm done in 5-6 hours or whatever.
Okay.
So like I like it.
Okay, you like it. So is there any advice that you want to give those people who want to come to Korea as an English teacher?
Yeah, so like the advice I would give is like if they're looking for a job, like if you have not signed a contract, don't let anybody push you into making a decision. And like
okay, I think that's
don't
really
be afraid to ask for like details. Like don't be like if they send you a contract, read every page of the contract, make sure everything looks right, and if anything looks weird, don't be afraid to ask questions, because if you ask a question, you're like, hey, I noticed that this was in the contract, or that this said something different, can you ask them what this means, to like make sure. And as long as you're like polite and respectful while you're talking to people, if their intentions are like genuine, they're not gonna be mad, because they want, like if they want you, like they're gonna do what they need to make sure everything looks good. Whether that, because like whatever your contract says, that like your contract goes to immigration. So like if you do anything that's different from your contract or whatever, you could get in trouble with immigration. The academy, like the Hagwon, they have no like repercussions if you do something outside of the contract. So like everything falls on you to be responsible for the stuff in your contract. So like my advice, if you get a contract, you're thinking about a job, make sure everything looks good. Make sure everything is like, it looks legitimate. Make sure all the numbers look good. And if it doesn't, ask questions. If you ask questions and they don't want to answer, or they're treating you like you're like bothering them, then go on to the next job. That means you'll probably get to Korea and they'll start making you work like, or they'll change, or they'll lie once you get there. Like that's a sign to stay away.
That's red flag? Red flag.
Yeah. Red flag.
Yeah, there's a tons of position for English teachers. We're crazy for education, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's a lot of English.
Endless positions.
Yeah, English Hagwon. So yeah, if you see the red flag.
Yeah, stay away.
Stay away.
Stay away.
Just
so if
look
you
for
see
another
red flags,
chance.
Stay away. And the only other advice I have is like if you're a teacher and you're already here, or even if you're getting ready to come here, make sure you understand what you can and cannot do on your visa. For example, if you're on an E2 visa, the only thing I'm allowed to do is teach like English conversation. If I went and like tried to tutor somebody like outside, like one-on-one tutoring, like immigration would like fine me, or like I would get in trouble, because that's not what my visa allows.
Tutoring?
Like quiet, like one-on-one. Like if they're like quiet, if I did that, like if somebody found out and like reported me to immigration, then like I would get in trouble with immigration. Or like I've seen stories online where people are like, you can teach English conversation and you can do anything that's like normal duties for your job. So like if you have to like create papers, or you know, like that's normal work duties. But like one lady, I think I saw it on like Facebook. She said that she was an E2 visa, and they had like a overnight like party with all the students, like an overnight like slumber, like sleepover, something like for all the kids for like some holiday or something. Yeah. So she stayed overnight. So like, but like staying overnight and like watching the kids, that like it's not part of her visa. Yeah. And her job didn't even pay her for the hours she worked overnight.
Yes, and then.
So it was like she violated her visa, but also her job didn't pay her. But if she told immigration, she would get in trouble for doing the wrong work.
But it was the Hagwon. Tell her to do.
So that's what I'm saying. So like in immigration's eyes, it is your responsibility to know what you can do and know what you cannot do. And if you cannot do it, you're allowed to refuse. Now, if you refuse and your Hagwon tries to like retaliate or like fire you or whatever, then that's when you take that evidence, you go to immigration, you report them to like the education ministry or whatever. But so like my advice, if you see red flags, stay away. And if you get here and you have a job and they're doing things that are illegal, like doing things that are shady, it is your responsibility to say, no, I'm not doing that. That's not allowed. And then you go report them, because like it's your responsibility to stay within the law.
That's new thing that I know.
Yeah.
Because I think there's many people who are scared to fight with their employee.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's not easy. They'll try and fire you, and like there's a lot of different like things you have to do. Like sometimes you end up having to get like a lawyer. Like it can be very like difficult and crazy, but it's a lot easier to fight that battle and like know that you didn't do anything wrong yet. You just said no. Than to do something wrong and then try and be like, my academy made me do it. So it's like you can,
at least you can protect yourself.
Exactly. So like always protect yourself.
That's very important.
Because if I leave work and I get hit by a car, they're gonna have a new teacher in my seat in 1 week. Like that's a lot of jobs. Like if you work at Starbucks and you go outside and get hit by a car, they're gonna have a new person in training in 3 days. So like protect yourself, because these jobs don't care about you.
Wow. Okay. That's actually so true. Okay. So that reminds me of my experience as a Korean teacher in Gangnam. So okay. Yeah, I think for today's episode, I think we heard a lot of great things to learn from your experience. So thank you for sharing your experience.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yes. So I think the first thing, keep in your mind, there's ton of chance. So if you see the red flag,
stay away.
And then if they try to make you do something that like out of your job,
like then, outside of your job requirements.
Yes, then you can say no, because
immigration will come after you.
And then if you get hit
by a car. Yes.
And then the next day the 학원 can find a new teacher. Someone else. So don't be scared to fight that battle. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So anything you want to add on this episode?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. But I still have some questions that I want to ask you, but I think for today it's enough. Okay. So let's talk about it. Maybe next episode, I think we can talk about teaching your native language in other country.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you're teaching your language in Korea, right? And I've taught my language in other country. So I think we can talk about this experience. And also like working abroad, not as a student, you know. You were also 교환학생, like exchange student in China, right? And I was also exchange student in Spain. So we can compare.
I think that'll be fun.
The teacher's life and student's life
in another country.
Yeah. So I think we can talk about that next episode.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So thank you for listening. You can find our social media on the screen somewhere. It'll either be maybe here, there, somewhere.
Yeah, and if you're listening to podcast in the audio.
Yes, so you'll find all of our social media, mine, Yeji's, Local Chingu's, all somewhere here on the screen. This has been episode 2. And I think we're all done, right?
Yes, I think if you want to say something or share your opinion, maybe YouTube channel comment. That's the easiest way.
Yes, the best way, if you want to like share your opinions, or if you guys have experiences too, leave us a comment on YouTube. Or if you listen on Spotify, you can actually like they have a Q&A section. You can like
Oh.
you can leave your feedback on Spotify as well.
Okay.
So that's an option. But yes,
Okay.
like, comment, subscribe. More episodes coming. Our schedule is every 2 weeks, generally uploaded on Sundays. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
안녕.